question about divorces. According to CDC, this is number from 2022, data from 2022. 39% of marriages end up in divorce. And the joke here is that the other 61% of marriages end up in death.
Yeah, till death do us part.
Yes.
That's part of your
Exactly.
vows.
So choose wisely. Okay, so and then with this, also divorce rates kind of are following the marriage rates, and marriage rates are going down, starting from according to this chart from 1980s or 90s. So, okay, what do you think is the reason for such a high divorce rate in Western world? Question for you. You go first, and Hamza goes, and then we can read the answer from Erin Hill.
Obviously, I'm not a dating coach, but on my opinion, I feel like social media plays a huge part in why why the divorce rate is so high. I feel like social media makes us have unrealistic expectations for what we see as a partner, especially the first time I got on TikTok. All I saw was dating information. I don't know what made TikTok think I wanted dating information, but it let me have it. It was like, oh, if your boyfriend does these 10 things, he's not for you. Getting with your ex, no go. It's like, oh, if a girl's not wearing a watch, you can't even take her serious. So it's like all these things, all these mixed information. So then I feel like a lot of times, like, it kind of does something to our psyche when we're like having unrealistic expectations for like what our partner is, and we have the idea in our head that it's supposed to be perfect. So I feel like, especially, and also now too, I feel like a lot of people don't spend enough time courting. They spend a lot of time talking.
There's a question about this, so yeah, don't go into courting yet.
Okay, but I feel like they just don't spend enough time really getting to know each other, and then when they're like, oh, let's get married, and then it's like when you really see who they are and you have this idea in your head of how perfect they're supposed to be, and when you start seeing their faults, you just assume that like, oh, because they're not perfect, they're not for me, and someone out there is for me that's perfect because social media tells you so. That's why I think a lot of marriages end up in divorces.
Hamza, what do you think?
That's a very, very good point. Social media is definitely a contributing factor because you'll see like happy couples online. You'll see the highlights that they want to post, and then you'll look at your own relationship, and you'll see the ups and the downs, and you'll compare. So comparison is a thief of joy, and a lot of people have the grass is greener mentality.
Yeah.
And then also people just don't talk about their values or very important like financial decisions and the different type of lifestyles that they want to live before they get married. A lot of people just go into it thinking that they're just going to continue the like boyfriend girlfriend type of relationship that they have, or if they're living together ahead of like before the marriage, then that dynamic can change once the marriage happens because people have different expectations and they don't really communicate that at the beginning. So then what ends up happening is because of those expectations, resentment starts to fester, and then it just gets to a point where person can't get over it or either person can't get over it, and then they decide to split up and divorce.
Man, I need to get me a pen. I feel like you're giving me some good tidbits that I could definitely take home with me and sleep on. But this is actually great. It's very interesting.
Can you now read what Erin answered? So
Sorry.
the first one.
So why do you think the reason for such a high divorce rate? Erin's answer is, in our society, it is very easy to meet someone discreetly. Whether it's online or at work, there's no shortage of places to connect with people and have possible affairs. It's not wrong. I also feel that we have allowed our phones to distance ourselves from our partners. We pay more attention to them than each other, thus drifting apart slowly without much notice. Divorce doesn't carry the same stigma it once did. And I think some of us fall for the old saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. Okay.